what are we doing? What are we doing? There is no world where Marvin Harrison Jr. should be swapped for Brian Thomas Jr. But there is a world where the Arizona Cardinals should absolutely make the call. Let's talk about that next.
The Ben Garcia Show. Yeah. Woo. Best show in the land. Yup. Listen. Come and get your information from Ben Garcia. Get the latest on your quarterback, running backs, and receivers. Tune in, so any other show you don't need them. Any news that he giving out, please just believe him. Giving out the latest prediction and top-notch analysis. Wanna hear the truth, better have thick skin like calluses. The latest move that your team just made can be damaging. The dudes ain't speaking no facts, they just be rambling. Lights, camera, action, turn on the show, go get the cameraman. Yeah. Lights, camera, action, turn on the show, go get the cameraman. The Ben Garcia Show.
What is up? Welcome in to yet another edition of the Ben Garcia Show. Appreciate you guys tuning in to yet another edition here on this beautiful Monday. Follow me on all social media platforms at Ben Garcia Show. That is at Ben Garcia Show. Anywhere there is social media, Instagram, TikTok, Twitter, Facebook, YouTube, it's the at Ben Garcia Show. You can find me there on any of those platforms. With that being said, there's a lot of things to get into, so do me a favor, hit that like, share, subscribe button, and yes, as well as follow me on social media platforms at Ben Garcia Show. There's a lot of things to get into on this quiet Monday. The Arizona Cardinals did not play. My guy Back to Constitution puts it really well. Great day. Cardinals didn't lose yesterday. What a great week. I think it's more so to the extent of what a great day. The Arizona Cardinals didn't blow a late fourth quarter lead in a game that they were in control of. You know what's interesting to me? I would like to know in the chat, the people that will show up momentarily as they normally do, where Cardinals fans stand. Are they in the realm of you're kind of rooting for this team to lose games? One, again, it gives you clarity. Like, I think the worst thing that can happen this Cardinals season is Kyler Murray rattles off a bunch of wins. They finish 9-8, and you ask yourself, what the hell are they? What the hell are they? Now, I am of the belief that unless Kyler Murray pulls a rabbit out of his hat, wins whatever it is, 7 of his last 8 games, and makes a playoff appearance, I'm out on Kyler. There's still a way that you can win me back. But the only way that happens is if Kyler Murray rattles off like 8 of his last 9, 7 of his last 8, wins 10 games, and makes the playoffs. It's the only way. Outside of that, the worst thing that can happen is Kyler Murray wins 9 games, they just missed the playoffs, and then you're probably running it back with Kyler for the 8th straight season, because you don't have a high enough draft pick. So I'd be curious to know where fans are at this point in the Arizona Cardinals season. If they truly are okay with this team winning games, or if they're kind of rooting for, not necessarily rooting for your team to lose, but rooting for the best possible outcome. Like at this point in the season, the best thing the Cardinals could do is lose every single game from here on out. Because I know how good they are. You know how good they are on paper. They just need the quarterback. We've talked about this ad nauseum over the last couple of weeks. And so it's interesting. Where are Cardinals fans at? Like myself, I don't really consider myself a fan anymore. I lean more into the opinions analyst space. I grew up watching this team. That's why I cover this team. That's why I cover all Arizona teams, because I'm one of the few who have followed all Arizona sports teams till the bitter end. And now I cover them, but I don't really see it from a fan's lens anymore. I kind of see it from an analytical space. What would be the best possible outcome? The best possible outcome is getting a top 3 pick. Having your pick of the litter of quarterbacks. Hell, get the 2nd, 3rd overall pick. Maybe you do end up taking Sam Leavitt in the 2nd round because he falls to you. So it's just curious to know where Cardinals fans are at this point. Now let's move to this. Here's an interesting story. Diana Rossini of The Athletic comes out with a very surprising report. The Jacksonville Jaguars are shopping Brian Thomas Jr. Now, Brian Thomas Jr., previous to the Arizona Cardinals selecting Marvin Harrison Jr., was seen as, previous to this season, better than Marvin Harrison Jr. Like, one of the things about Marvin has been that he has not lived up to expectations. Now, I think there's a fair argument to that. Is it the quarterback? Is it the wide receiver? Is it the OC? I think there's blame everywhere, but I think you're starting to see the special from Marvin Harrison Jr. over the past couple of weeks that leads you to believe, okay, this guy's got talent. We got to find him the quarterback. He's not Larry Fitzgerald where he's going to put up numbers with Max Hall, John Skelton, or whoever it is. What makes Marvin Harrison Jr. tick? I think it's the quarterback. And I was very hard on Marvin Harrison Jr. earlier this year. He's liking my TikTok posts. Probably not thrilled with me. But previous to this season, Marvin Harrison Jr. was pretty clearly the third best wide receiver, maybe fourth in his own draft class. Brian Thomas Jr., Malik Neighbors, Ladd McConkey. I wasn't ready to put Ladd McConkey over Marvin Harrison Jr. I think a lot of that is one's got Justin Herbert, one doesn't. So let's say he's tied for third. And then there's been a couple of reports out, not necessarily reports, but people speculating. There's been a couple of people and reporters speculating that Marvin Harrison Jr. could be traded for Brian Thomas Jr. Just a flat out swap. Until you look at the statistics, you say to yourself, well, that's not terrible. A little do-over at the wide receiver position. And then you realize Brian Thomas Jr. is dropping like half of the balls targeted his way. Now, he didn't forget how to play football. It's mental. It'll come back to him. It'll get figured out. But this idea that trading Marvin Harrison Jr. for Brian Thomas Jr. would be a good thing would be insanity. If Monty Ossenfort entertained this, he should be fired. Not only is Monty Ossenfort telling on himself that he didn't select even the best wide receiver, much less the right pick at the 4th overall selection, but he's also paying premium value for a wide receiver who, yes, had a really solid elite rookie season, but now has a case of the drops. Now has some issues in the Jacksonville Jaguars offense. That's Monty Ossenfort telling on himself. That's crazy. If Monty pulls the trigger on this, it would be a fireable offense. I am not out on Marvin Harrison Jr. I've never been out on Marvin Harrison Jr. I've been hard on him, and I will be with everyone. But trading him for Brian Thomas Jr., who has some of the same, I think, mental lapses right now in his game that Marvin Harrison Jr. feels like just got over, and now you want to go back to that because he had a good rookie season. That's insanity. That's crazy. And Monty Ossenfort trading Marvin Harrison Jr. and maybe a pick for Brian Thomas Jr. is telling on himself, not only did he not make the right selection, the 4th overall pick, he couldn't even get the right wide receiver at the 4th overall pick. And we know some of Monty Ossenfort's track record in selecting in the NFL draft is spotty to say the least. He makes that deal, he should be fired. Along with paying premium for a wide receiver that's got some mental lapses on the field, it would be an abject disaster. So, that begs the question, though. Would it be wrong to trade for Brian Thomas Jr.? Would you do it? If you're the Arizona Cardinals, you're interested in stockpiling young talent. And I don't know how likely it is. In fact, it's probably less than 10%. But if there's a world where you could bring Brian Thomas Jr. on this team for a second-round pick, you have to do that. Just because the Cardinals don't have the quarterback right now, it doesn't mean that you shouldn't be stockpiling young talent. I've said it once, I'll say it again. The Cardinals have a lot of talent on this team. They just need to find the quarterback. Whatever quarterback they draft or sign, they will not be asked to save the franchise. They will be asked to help lift the franchise up. They will not be asked to do everything. There's franchise saviors, and then there's franchise quarterbacks. The Cardinals don't need a franchise savior. The foundation, the coaching, the players, the young talent, it's all there. Just don't crash the Maserati. Kyler Murray has crashed the Maserati 1, 2, 3 too many times. It's time to bring someone else in here. And what better way to do so than to help stockpile them with young talent? I know Brian Thomas Jr. has a little bit of the case of the drops, and I think some of the issues that he has is more mental than anything. He didn't forget how to play football. I think when he kind of gets some stuff figured out down the field, he's going to be an elite deep threat. Good red zone target. And what better way to set up either your young franchise quarterback or someone you sign in free agency up with success? Marvin Harrison Jr. on one side and Brian Thomas Jr. on the other. Reminder, you're not paying them anything. You'd still have 4 more seasons. I'm sorry, you'd still have 3 more seasons after this year to get contracts situated for both Marvin and Brian Thomas. And it'd be worth it to me just to send a second-round pick potentially, 2/3 for a player, even if I only have him for 3 years. I'll continue to say it, guys. I don't lie to you. I don't like lying to you. I'm not interested in gassing this team up. They have talent. And I'm interested in stockpiling young talent to bring to this team. And you should be as well. You should absolutely be as well. This team should be taking talent wherever they could get it. This is not trading for even 26-year-old, 25-year-old T. Higgins. Brian Thomas Jr. is 23. His whole career is ahead of him. Now, I would wonder what the Jags would want for him, and there's a bad payment that you could give to but there's a bad trade that you could give for Brian Thomas Jr. I wouldn't give up 2 seconds. I wouldn't give up a first-round pick. The most I'd do is a 2nd and 4th-round pick, and I think that's a little on the high end. You want to move on for him, you're not getting premium talent for him. You're getting draft compensation. If the Jags want to tell on themselves that they blew up another first-round pick, that's on them. I don't care. But I would get on the phone if I was Monty Ossenfort. And if it only costs me a 2nd and a 4th, I'd do it. I'd do it. I would already start thinking about my young quarterback and, say to myself, how do I set them up for success? And I believe this is how you do it. Here's the other thing. Oh, we got 15 of you guys in here. Wow, it's more than I thought there'd be on this Monday edition. No game. So appreciate you guys being here. Reminder, I know I don't look at the chat like a lot of other streamers do. At the end of the show, stick around with me. Last 5-7 minutes, I'll answer all of your guys' Arizona sports, Diamondbacks, Cardinals, Suns, Sun Devils questions. So put them in there. I'll get to it at the end of the show. We're about a 30-minute show. Here's the other thing. I'm getting really, I've been polite. I think I've been too polite. And that's not my MO about the Kyler Murray situation at quarterback. Because I've been someone who, I'm not really interested in picking on Kyler. I think Kyler wants a fresh start. And I think the Cardinals want a fresh start. I think it's a healthy breakup waiting to happen. I've got my concerns with Kyler working in other places in the NFL. He's just too erratic. He doesn't like to get hit, and he feels a little small. But I've kind of separated myself from just picking on Kyler. I'm not interested in doing it. And I don't like to act like I know more than people that study the game. Like, that's not my lane. I'm not here doing film breakdowns. You don't want that from me. You've never given me that idea that I need to do that. My goal is to be honest with you, watch a game, watch a practice, look at reports, and give you my God-honest opinion. And honestly, I'm on a bit of a hot streak this year. I've been right about a lot of different things. But here's what drives me a little crazy. This is from Kurt Warner, who, again, knows more about football than I do. I get it. But he weighed in on the quarterback situation with, I think, PHNX Sports. And he talked about the Kyler Murray, Jacoby Brissett situation. And he said, quote, you made your commitment to Kyler. And I don't know if there's really a chance to make a move, Warner said. Whether it's Kyler or Jacoby, they were still playing close games. And they were still in the situation to win every football game. So it's not as if this team was struggling and getting blown out with Kyler, and all of a sudden, Jacoby comes in and they're winning football games, end quote. I'm not going to act like I know more than Kurt Warner. I can only tell you what I see. And that has taken me pretty far in my career thus far, because you guys like honesty. And I don't think Kurt Warner's being honest here. I don't think he's being honest. If you are someone watching this game, whether it's, if you are someone watching Kyler, Jacoby, Kyler in the Cardinals offense, and you say to yourself, I don't really see a difference. Guys, I'm sorry. I'm not there with you. I can't live on planet crazy. I can't live on planet imagination. I'm more of a fan here of planet Earth. Forget that the fact that they're still losing games. If you are sending the crutch argument of, well, they're 0-2 without Jacoby. Yeah, they played the Indianapolis Colts, who have lost one game this season, and they've played the Green Bay Packers, who are the best team in the NFC. The two teams that Jacoby Brissett lost to was potentially the best team in the AFC right now and the best team in the NFC right now. And the offense has looked infinitely better, and you're trying to tell me that it looks different? Kyler Murray losing a game to the Tennessee Titans is not the same as losing a game to the Indianapolis Colts. Use your eyeballs. They will not lie to you. If the offense looks better, it's because it is better. I'm not going to sit here and tell you Jacoby's losing games because Jacoby hasn't been good enough. That is crazy. Forget that. Forget the assumption Kurt Warner used. Well, Kyler, I don't like to act like I know more than Kurt Warner. But let's use that logic. Well, they're losing games with Kyler the same way that they're losing games with Jacoby Brissett. Very close. What does that say about the quarterback? What does that say about the quarterback? If Kyler Murray can't pull out close games in the same way Jacoby Brissett can't, that is not the winning argument you think it is. Oh, they're the same quarterback? Then I'm moving on. This isn't if Jacoby Brissett's better, we got to move on. This is if they're the same thing, move off of the guy that's got a $50 million cap hit and a $46 million average annual value. Move off of that guy and do it swiftly. That is not the winning argument. Well, they're losing games the same ways. What are we doing here, guys? Just be honest with yourself. It looks different because it is different. And the offense has had more yards in 2 games than Kyler Murray has had all season. And Kyler Murray was playing the Saints, the Titans, the Panthers. What are we doing here? They scored 16 points against the San Francisco 49ers. They scored 20 points against the Seattle Seahawks. That was a good, bet until they lost. Well, that was the kicking game's fault. Really? Because they distinctly remember the offense taking 3 quarters to wake up, i.e., Kyler Murray took 3 quarters to wake up. What are we doing? What are we doing? I don't get it. And I won't act like I do. And maybe there's something I'm missing. Maybe there's something I'm missing. Like, I don't want to be the guy that's like, Kurt Warner has no idea what he's talking about. If you want my God-honest opinion, I think Kurt Warner knows Kyler. I think Kurt Warner knows people in the Cardinals organization, and he's trying to be nice. And I get that. Like, you're trying to save relationships. He doesn't need a career in this field like I do. So I think he's doing a little bit of lying. I think he's doing a little bit of lying. With that being said, guys, let's move over to the Arizona State Sun Devils really quickly. And give me just half a second. Sorry about that. Had to make sure my sound quality was coming in all right. Had to check it there for a second. With that being said, guys, let's move to ASU for a brief moment. Here's where I get to be hard on ASU. I've been really happy and joyful about ASU, but this is where losses to Mississippi State and losses to Utah really hurt you. ASU now is not winning the Big 12. The loss to Houston was damning. It was the nail in the coffin. It was a game they should have won. Here's the break I'll give ASU. When you're walking into a game without your best target in Jordyn Tyson, and Sam Leavitt is dropping balls on a dime right in the breadbasket, and receivers can't pull them in, that's not a Sam Leavitt issue. Like, that's a game you watch, and you can tell if someone scoreboard watched it, box score watched it, or watched the actual game. Arizona State's wide receivers let Sam Leavitt down all day. All day. Mateer was the only one, the tight end, who was the security blanket for Sam Leavitt, who actually caught a pass or two. Outside of that, if ASU pass catchers could catch, ASU probably wins this game. And I've seen some criticism towards Kenny Dillingham that I'll save my take that I had from Twitter that I think is actually a pretty good take. But I'll save that for a little bit. If you're blaming Kenny Dillingham for going out there without his wide receiver one and without his quarterback one for half of that game, I don't know what to say to you. What, do you want to move on? Do you want to find someone better? You won't. You should be praying that LSU ain't picking up the phone call or ain't picking up the phone and calling Kenny Dillingham, because they just might do that. This is not a Kenny Dillingham game. This is not a culture loss. This is a shorthanded ASU team fell short in a comeback attempt. That's all it is. But with that being said, this is where I get to be hard on ASU. The season is an abject failure. You want to be held to the standard of a winner. I'm going to hold you to the standard of a winner. I'm not going to hold you to the Pop-Tarts Bowl. That I'm not interested in. And the loss to Houston at home in a game that you had to win to keep your Big 12 champ hopes alive, it's a failure. It's an abject failure. That can't happen. And losing that game to Houston was part of that. I thought ASU should have got the ball to Raleek Brown more. It feels like they've struggled to get him the ball more all year. Kanye Udo sounds like he's not happy either. I'd be shocked if he didn't transfer at the end of the year too. They've got to find a way to run the ball more effectively. And the offensive line was shaky. And when you walk into a game where Sam Leavitt gets injured and Jordyn Tyson can't play, and you have to run it out with Jeff Sims, who, is barely a college football quarterback, you probably lose that game. But if you want to be held to a winner's standards, the season's a failure. The standard for Kenny Dillingham and ASU is no longer just be competitive, is no longer make the Pop-Tarts Bowl. The standard for Kenny Dillingham and ASU is win playoff games, get to the playoff, make the Big 12 Conference Championship game. They lose in the Conference Championship game, I get it. They missed the playoffs because of that. It happens. It's a 1-game sample size. Anything weird can happen. It's still, it's still football any given Saturday in this instance. But if you want to be held to the standard of a winner, I'm going to hold to the standard of a winner. Years past, I didn't do that. I'm like, they won 8 games, successful season for ASU. They won 7 games, successful season. They're going to go to the New Mexico Bowl. Like, all that is great. But you bring in Kenny Dillingham, you change the culture, you raise the temperature in the room, and you make the playoffs the year prior. I'm going to call your season a failure when you are effectively eliminated from the Big 12 championship game in week 8, week 9. Like that's not it's not a winning formula. And so, like, this isn't a Kenny Dillingham should be fired take, or Sam Leavitt isn't as good as they thought he was, or Jordyn Tyson's overrated, or Raleek Brown isn't good enough. Don't take it as that. But it's the first time we're talking about ASU falling short of expectations under Kenny Dillingham. His MO has been doing more with less, and not the Steve Sarkisian way of doing less with more. Steve Sarkisian, Brian Kelly, those types of guys doing less with more. This has been him pulling a rabbit out of his hat pretty much every single week. And they needed a win at home where they've never lost under the Sam Leavitt era. And they failed. And it's okay. Sometimes they're going to fail. But they deserve to be held accountable. Don't tell me the culture has changed. The standard has changed. If you're effectively eliminated from a Big 12 conference championship game appearance in week 8, week 9, that's ASU of old. Did you capture lightning in a bottle? Or did you change the culture? Did you raise the temperature in the room? That's where I would stand with that. And so everyone's got to get it. Everyone's got to, take the heat sometimes. And ASU's taking heat. Because not being able to score for 3 quarters against the Houston Cougars defense, like that, it's good, not great, at home is unacceptable. I thought the play calling was obscure to say the least. I thought all of it was just a gross game. And ASU has to find the ability to win those close games when you need to. You shouldn't feel like the season was over on Thursday when Jordyn Tyson got injured. I felt good about the ASU wide receivers picking up the slack against, checks the calendar, Houston. Well, they're 6-1. Whatever. They were not a ranked opponent for a reason. And you're the reason why they might play in the conference championship game. You're the reason why they might be ranked for the first time all season, second time all season, whatever. It's not good enough. It's not good enough. Here's the good part. Kenny Dillingham knows that, and he's going to get it back on track. ASU's got the right head coach. This is not a lightning in a bottle situation where they won 9-10 games, win the conference championship game, and, they can't get it out for years later. They didn't have the coaches then. They've got the coach now in Kenny. That's the hardest thing. Now he's got to go find a new quarterback. I think this is Sam Leavitt's last year at ASU, whether he transfers out because of money or whether he goes to the NFL draft, which I'm going to be honest with you, putting myself in the shoes of Sam Leavitt, I might transfer or I might just go to the draft. You're going to lose Tyson. Who knows about Udo and Brown? Someone's going to offer you a lot of money. Like, I don't want him to. I think you guys know how great I think Sam Leavitt is. I think he's a first-round guy. But, I get it. You want the security, but that's a story for another day. I'm shocked both guys came back last season, honestly. But that's Kenny Dillingham. That's his culture. So maybe it works out again for the second straight season. Maybe he convinced them to come back. Maybe ASU's NIL is further along than I've been told it is, and both guys come back. So I'm rooting for that. With that being said, guys, let's look at some of your guys' questions. One right off the bat. Ben overslept. Going to be a short pod. No. pretty much every show is half hour. That's pretty much how it's always been. I'll tell you if I overslept. I didn't oversleep. Today. Great day. Cardinals didn't. Okay, let's look at some of these. There are a lot worse teams in the NFL, so I don't have high hopes for a high draft pick. Van Heath says this, like, there's not a lot of other worse teams in the NFL. You sure? Are you sure? And forget that. Look at the Cardinals' schedule. Forget if the Jets are worse than them. Who's got a bunch of losses on the schedule? Bucks, Bengals with Joe Burrow probably, Rams, Seattle, San Francisco again. Like, I wouldn't agree with that if I were you guys. Are we really talking about trading our number one wide receiver? Yes. Yes, it is. Yes, we are. I'm not. Other people are. As of now, his fault or not, MHJ is a wide receiver 2 at best. We'll see. We'll see. Good morning, gents. Tough loss for ASU, but at least Cardinals didn't lose. I'm all over a little do-over of the number one quarterback. Back to Constitution, great. Richie, MHJ was the number one wide receiver in the draft. He wasn't the only GM making that pick. So, the hell do I care? You got the pick wrong. Oh, everyone would have selected MHJ at the 4th overall pick. So, that's not my job. That's Monty Alsfort's job. Don't let him off the hook like that. Don't do that. Monty Alsfort's got to select the right person. Raul Garcia, trade Kyler for a quarterback before the deadline. They should trade Kyler before the deadline. They absolutely should. I would call up the Vikings or the Jets right now and see what they'd give up, but they won't do it. Which quarterback is out there to trade for? Well, I'm not trading for a quarterback right now for the Cardinals. Let the season end. Maybe you can get Daniel Jones here. Well, Daniel Jones stinks, does he? Maybe he just needs some better coaching. They said the same thing about Darnold and Mayfield. Tough blow for Cam. What's up with these ankle injuries in the NFL? I've got one right now. You guys want to know a joke or a secret? When me and my wife were moving in, she's pregnant, so she's doing minimal work as she should be. I don't want her lifting things. And I rolled my ankle on the front porch. First night here. And like friggin' hurt. I was literally to text her to come out and help me up. It's pretty funny. So ankle injuries, tough. If Kyler rattles off 7 wins, I think we're stick with him on account of being right there right now. No, he's got to win 10. He's got to win 10 games. Kurt has to stay politically correct because of his job. I don't think that's true. I just think he feels like he owes it to the Cardinals. I don't feel the Cards throw to Marv enough. Yeah, I mean, they don't throw to Marvin Harrison Jr. enough, but I don't think they can get him the ball. Kurt was afraid, to be honest. I don't know. I don't know if this guy would say he's afraid. I just think he has relationships and he's not trying to make it in this business like me by being honest. He makes it in this business by breaking down film and by being Kurt Warner. My eyes don't lie. Jacoby can see the entire field better. True. Keim couldn't draft a lick 100%. Gosh, you guys are throwing things in here. Soul Pancakes. Hey, Ben, it's interesting to hear the way Kurt talks to certain networks. He's been more critical of Kyler's ability on PHNX, even saying he believes on Jacoby as a starter. Like, it's the same thing. Like, Kurt doesn't have to be honest. People are still going to have Kurt Warner on. Maybe Kurt believes that. If he does, like, we just fundamentally disagree. And if you want to agree with him, you can agree with him. Like, I wouldn't kill you for it. Like, again, that's me being honest. That's Kurt Warner. However, he doesn't have to make a career out of being super honest. He breaks down film. He's Kurt bleeping Warner. He does play-by-play. Like, that's his lane. His lane isn't the honesty business. On the flagship station who have been critical of Kyler, Kurt says what he says about the Cardinals committing to Kyler. Yeah. I don't know why you want to give Gannon another year. He's on track to be the worse than Eberflus. I mean, I think that's just I think I saw this. I didn't watch this show. I have watched this show before. I didn't watch this episode. I just saw the thumbnail. I'm assuming that's Eberflus. I'm assuming that's like that PHNX thing that they put out there. I don't know. I didn't watch that episode. And again, no shade towards them at all. But like, the team had given up on Matt Eberflus. The team had given up on Matt Eberflus. The team has not given up on Gannon. He has not lost the locker room. He's got A+ grades in the NFLPA. Like we talked about this the other day. Go check out the show on Wednesday if you want to know why I'm not getting rid of Gannon as well. Just a bad look. And I don't think there's anything wrong with giving it another year. Also, like, who are you hiring? Which head coach in this coaching cycle? You like, I want him. Like, I think someone in the chat said Clint Kubiak. Didn't he just get fired like a year ago? I don't know. Platty, thank you for inspiring me to make content like, man. Dude, do it, man. Hardest thing is to just do it. With that being said, guys, follow me on all social media platforms at Ben Garcia Show. I got to get out of here. Have a heck of a Monday, a heck of a week. Do me a favor, hit the like, share, subscribe button. Follow me on all social media platforms at Ben Garcia Show. I'll be here on Wednesday and Friday at 7 a.m. to break all things down. Cardinals got the Cowboys this week. Kyler's return to Dallas. We'll break that down later on in the week. All right, guys, I'll talk to you guys on Wednesday at 7 a.m.